Hello, this is Dom from Upstate Supernatural. I'd like to welcome everybody to our paranormal stories. We have a stupendous guest I would love to introduce to everybody. These guys have been doing Fright Night Mansion, which is basically a haunted house locally in the area in which I live. I've known these guys quite a while, and I would love to introduce everybody to these individuals and have them tell their story of what they kind of do. And you guys are on. If you guys want to explain who you are.
I'm Mark. This is Matt.
How you doing? My name's Matt. I'm basically the head builder of APE Productions Fright Night Mansion.
And I'm the producer-director. I actually created it in the beginning, back in 1987. It's been going ever since.
Our story basically is we love doing this. I mean, it's our passion, I guess you could say. We build a haunted house every year. The maze is always different, and it's we try and make it as scary, fun as possible for everybody.
We donate the proceeds to the local charities. We've always done that. And we love it because we love Halloween, and we just love doing it. It's a love. It's an art of love. We don't do this because we're making money for it. We do it because we just like.
I mean, it's all volunteer basis. Every people that work there love to do it. That's why they do it, and that's why we're rated one of the scariest in New York State.
Yep. And everybody that's involved in it, most of the people that are involved in it have been involved in it since the beginning and are still with us after almost 30 years. 2 more years we'll be at our 30th anniversary. So we're looking forward to that. It's pretty big on that one.
Now,
we'll do something special for it.
What kind of things do you guys like to do with your events with the Fright Night Mansion?
Well, we like to. Well, basically, it's just a haunted maze. But we also like to bring in people that like to bring in canned goods and things like that. And sometimes we'll share the limelight with other haunted houses around the local, and we'll all get together and we'll just we'll try to do stuff for charity. But that's about it, really. We've also done hay rides, local hay rides, local walk haunts where they're outside. Most of ours have been inside, like in the mall. A lot of you guys were members from Finger Lakes Mall. We started there. We've done maybe 9 years there, off and on. We've done hay rides, Cuga hay rides. We've been in Weedsport. We've been in Cuga. We've been in downtown Auburn. We were there for quite a few years. Now we're up at the Wasco Pavilion.
There's going to be probably quite a few viewers that actually don't even know our area. But I mean, is there other things similar that you could compare, like the Fright Night Mansion to give them like a good example of exactly how you guys do your mansion? I know it's unique, so I was just curious if there was a way to explain it for other people that may not know.
I guess it's unique in the way we put it together and the people that we have involved in it. But we try not to copy other people's stuff. We try to be as original as possible. And if somebody starts to use the same stuff as we're using, we kind of change it up. Like I said, like Matt, we change it every year. I started in '87. It's just, I don't know. I grew up liking stuff, so I decided to do it myself.
Well, it's your typical walk-through haunted house in most aspects.
Right.
All right. We're in your face. It's not far away. You can.
It's not like the museum haunts where you walk by the effects or by the person. We're
there.
Yeah.
You know we're there.
Yeah. Back in the '80s, before a lot of laws were issued, we could actually grab people, and we don't forget more. But it's pretty scary. We're known to be scary, not funny.
Now, do you guys you guys do productions like short films and movies and stuff like that?
Yeah, we do skits and things like that. I've got a few scripts that I've written that I want to start doing like short movies for.
Yeah, we got things written. We're trying to get things together to do another. We want to do a full length movie eventually.
Yeah, and we've got the equipment to do it now. Now we just got to get the right people together, and of course, because it's all volunteer, it's hard to do that because You have to get, it's not like you've got somebody designated.
Yeah, you got to work around people's work schedules and things like that because we can't pay people to be in these type of things.
Right.
So
it's not like we make money doing it either. We're just doing it for fun.
Yeah, so it's hard working around other people's schedules sometimes.
Now, I mean, was there whatever got you interested in trying to form this, trying to start doing the Fright Night Mansion?
Oh, it kind of snowballed. I did it for the trick-or-treaters back in '87. I got with some friends, and I said, let's just do something special for the trick-or-treaters when they come. Let's give them a little scare. And we put up a little haunted walkthrough maze. So we did a thing around my house, and we set up some tarps around trees and made tunnels, and we had a cornstalk fence, and we had a friend that wanted to be Leatherface, so he was he had a chainsaw, and Freddy Krueger was really big at the time. In fact, he had just did the third movie, the first movie or second movie. Don't know which one it was, but he was really popular at the time. We had Freddy Krueger on the roof, throwing leaves at people. We had a cemetery. We had a gypsy. We had vampires. We had everything. We had a good about 20 different haunts around the yard. And it snowballed. I just did this for the trick-or-treaters, and it got bigger and bigger. What happened is we had 700 people come through that one night, and I'm like, oh my God, we could really do something really cool with this. So the mall found out, Finger Lakes Mall found out what we were doing. And they had just lost their haunt, so they asked us if we wanted to do theirs. So that was our actual first professional haunt, was at Finger Lakes Mall. And that was in '88.
Now, have you ever thought about trying to evolve it more than just, because I know you guys do it for 1 month. Have you ever tried to think about evolving it more than 1 month? Or
I've always wanted to have a permanent place. It's hard to do because, one, insurance. Two, you need building space. You need to have land. And you have to have it, the land, everything has to be, the red tape is just outstanding.
Well, we did it once, one weekend in July, I think it was, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we did very, very well during that time, for that time of year.
Yeah, we weren't expecting it. It was an after school, no, it was June. It was right after school.
Yeah.
We opened for a weekend. It was Weekend of Horror in the mall. And because we left it up and we did a Weekend of Horror, and it worked really well. In fact, we made more money on that Weekend of Horror than we did the entire week of October, the previous year, and which was funny. But I've always wanted to get a permanent place, like in a pole barn or something. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, you gotta figure. There's a lot of red tape. There's money. Because you gotta have money to build the place. Then, if you gotta own the land. If you don't own the land, then you gotta pay rent, and you gotta have something else in the building for the other 11 months of the year to pay the rent. So it becomes a very complicated situation.
There were some incidences there were some opportunities where we almost were able to do it, but they either fell through or we just decided not to for some reason or another. But so we've been pretty much portable. We set up, we do our thing, then at the end of the season we take it down and it goes back to in storage.
Yeah, about 2 weeks to put up. 2 to 2.5 weeks to put up, and about a week and a half or so to pull back down. But it's and we're open mostly almost every weekend in October.
Right.
So and it's just a lot of fun. I mean, it's not to us. It's not a chore. I mean, sometimes it seems like it, but it's not.
It seems like a lot of work at sometimes, but it pans out in the end. Mike's the only one who wore the Fright Night shirt. There you are. Okay.
Yeah, I was just very curious about that.
This is Mike. He plays various characters as well. He's got one in particular, but I'm not going to say unless he wants to say it. Because we try to keep things secret. We're kind of Disney-ish in that way. We like to keep our secrets, but we'll let a few through. But
yeah, I've played many different characters throughout the years. My first one, I was a mad scientist, and from there, I've been known to be 4, 5 characters in one night. A lot of fun. You get to explore different passions, different avenues of your psyche, as it were.
Yeah, you get a lot out. I mean, it's a lot of fun scaring people, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun seeing the reactions and it's like acting, and it's a very mechanical process, really.
Well, especially for us, since 90% of it is our own stuff, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Because we create, I mean, we take time to create almost everything in the entire place from scratch, most parts. I mean, there's very
There's
very few
store-bought
traditional characters in our mansion nowadays.
When I started off because the haunted houses I was going through were all the old school stuff. I'm not taking that away. I love the old school stuff. It was the Frankenstein and Dracula and Wolfman and Mummy and all your traditional monsters. And I thought, hey, there's nobody from my generation doing anything. There's no Jasons, there's no Freddys, there's no Michael Myers, there's no. So I said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start bringing in all the new stuff. I'm going to keep the old stuff, but I'm going to bring in the new stuff too, because no one was doing it at the time for some reason. And so I said, we're going to do Freddy, we're going to do Jason, we're going to do Michael Myers, we're going to do all the popular horror movies. And at the time we called it's a long title and it's silly, but it's APE Productions Fright Night Meet the Creeps Fright Night Mansion. And we were like, oh my god, that title's way too long. So the next year we shortened it up to just Fright Night Mansion. But slowly we started to drop the famous horror stuff, and we started to bring in our own creatures and our own stuff that we created ourselves. We still have a lot of the traditional stuff, but most of it's our own.
No, I mean, you've had individuals that have come through that, I mean, were in the field of the horror genre.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would you guys like to explain a little bit about that? I mean, I've heard stories about, like Kane Hodder coming through and how he felt about, what you guys were doing. I'd love for you guys to talk about that.
Okay, well, we did a hayride back in the 90s. It was haunted hayrides, and I don't know if they're still going or not. I think they're
Vincent Price.
yeah, I think they're defunct now, but it's at the time, and the people that ran it, I was pretty good friends with them, and they asked me to direct it. So I brought it, and we were off that year. We didn't have a place to go for our mansion. We were off that year, so I said, hey, everybody, we're going to do this haunted hayride this year. We're going to, it'll be under part of it will be under our name, and part of it will be under haunted hayrides. Well, we were there, and me and the co-director, we got together, and they were allowed to have some celebrities come in and help boost the promotion for it. And I said, you know what, you got to have Kane Hodder. And we got Kane Hodder, who plays Jason, of course, on the Friday the 13th movies. And he came in with his agent. He came in and he signed autographs. We had hundreds of little Jason masks, and signed them and gave them out. It was pretty good promotion. And then we went to me and Mike here went to a convention a few years later, and we walked up to Kane, just to say hi or whatever. And he remembered us. He goes, "Hey, AP Productions," and I go, "Oh my God, you remember us?" He goes, "Oh yeah, because I'm the only you guys are the only ones who were good enough to do it that year." So we did it. It was fun. We meet a lot of the horror celebrities at the convention. So.
Now, do you guys do any of the conventions, like the Scarecon or Scarefest?
In fact, this weekend coming up, I'm going to be going to Scarecon. I don't have a table there or anything like that, but I go on a yearly basis. I go to Scarecon. And I have been to other conventions. Me and Mike have been to the Toronto Fangoria, and we've been to Comic-Con, and we try to meet as many celebrities as possible, just to get an idea of how they got into the market, and how they got into it.
Now you do your own special effects / makeup, all the scenery, the different parts of the mansion are very unique. I know personally each individual that's kind of in charge of a section, they kind of put their input in, and you guys create that as their location.
Right.
I don't know of any other mansions that actually do that. Usually it's kind of governed by one person.
Yeah, I was gonna say most places.
It doesn't work.
Most places, it's run by one person. They build it, they design it, they decorate it how they see fit. Where we've come to a knowing with a lot of our people, because we've worked with them so long, how they're going to put rooms together, how they want the area to be. So Mark designs the map kind of to help them out, gives them an area and says, here you go, you do whatever you want. And then they go ahead and do it. And then of course we look at it, we go, okay, can we make it better?
We know what we kind of improve on their idea if it needs improvement.
And if it doesn't, we leave it alone.
We leave it alone, and you don't break what works. You just keep it, you don't break what works. But we'll build a room, and I'll be building the map, I'll be drawing the map out. I'll go, this is a good area for like say Freddy Krueger, and we can put the furnace here or whatever, the set design and all that stuff. But I'll get with Freddy Krueger, and then he will say, okay, Mark, I want that furnace here instead of over there. It's like this. Okay. But it works.
Because even when you're designing it, you don't know how people are going to react until they actually are in it. So even after the first weekend, we're still changing things. Yep. And we're changing things almost
Lighting,
right up
sound.
until the end, because we want to make sure that it's the best experience possible for the money these people are paying.
Yeah.
And
we don't charge that much. A lot of these haunts, they charge like $10, $20.
Yeah, we charge $5. We charge $5 per person.
And it's well worth it.
And it all goes to charity.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it affordable for families and fun.
And sometimes things happen by accident.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we get scares in there, and this is where you're going to start liking this stuff. We get scares in there from people that say they see things that we don't even do. So the mansion's really got
it's mind of its own.
It's got a mind. It's a joke that the mansion has a mind of its own. But I personally really believe that there is a spirit to our haunted house that really comes to life during the season, and it's there for that, and then it just kind of like dissolves and then comes back every year. It's really a strange sensation.
Yeah,
it's really weird, and it sounds hokey, but it's true. I personally think the place is haunted.
Well, we've had numerous accounts of people seeing things that weren't even there.
Right.
We had no intention of ever putting in the haunted house. I mean, we had one person one year say they saw Chucky.
Yeah, we've never had a Chucky.
Yeah,
we've never had a Chucky. The character Chucky, but
or
every other year, someone will say, "Oh, I love the Chucky. He scared the heck out of me," and I'd be like, "We don't have a Chucky."
Yeah. and the funny thing is, it's not just one person that's saying it either. It's multiple people every year that says it. That's why we kind of think there's kind of like we said, a spirit to the haunted house.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's just one example out
of lots.
Yeah.
I mean, what is your philosophy with the paranormal in that aspect? I mean, I know you guys do the Fright Night Mansion, and my first question is actually, what was your inspiration? Directors or makeup or actors. Who were your inspirations to really focus what style you have?
The movies were my major influence. Anything from Rick Baker and Craig Reardon and Tom Savini and
makeup artists. I mean, directors would be Wes Craven,
John Carpenter. We use their music in the mansion. Bruce Campbell, we're big Bruce Campbell fans. We love the Evil Dead franchise. So it's like scary fun, and those are our inspirations to do this stuff. But like I said, it does take on a mind of its own, and I think what it does is it takes on the energy that we put into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it releases that energy during the season.
It almost guides you on how to scare certain people, too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you would think that this person would be scared, and all of a sudden they're scared because of something you did just right. So it's almost like it helps find their weakness.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's true. And these come back. They're scared, but they keep coming back. It's like, wow, they must love us.
Especially at the mall, when we were first at the mall, we had lines that were up from the old Kmart that went all the way down to the food court, like the Finger Lakes Mall, and they would just go through and through. We had people that went through 20, 30 times.
We had this couple of girls. They weren't really twins, but they had the nickname that we gave them called the Brush Twins. And this is a story that we like to tell. The Brush Twins were two girls that walked through, and they came through 72 times. We counted 72 in one season. They came through, and the reason we call them the Brush Twins is because whenever they came through together, and they would have a brush in their hand, just one brush, and both of them would hold the same brush as a security blanket between them, and they would walk through the maze and get scared, but they were always scared, but yet 72 times you would think after like the 10th or 11th time
just fizzled.
Yeah, but they loved it.
I mean, we've had people come from all over the country.
Mhm.
I had people come from Connecticut, and I've had people from Cortland, people from Syracuse.
Yeah, we had a couple
We
Florida.
have a lot of regulars.
Yeah, we had a couple people from Florida that would come every single year up here just
Just to go through.
to go through our mansion. It was kind of inspiring to see that
Mm-hmm.
people from all over like what we do. So it makes it even better.
Well, here's one. I got a story. It's from one of the old ones we did with the Vincent Price Hayride. Mark and I were heading to Syracuse. We're going to the state fair, and we're sitting at the back of a bus, minding our own business, and there's this group ahead of us talking about, oh, yeah, we went to this hayride, and it was crazy. They were going nuts and chasing people, and then this one, Freddy Krueger, he chased me all the way back to my car. Meanwhile,
We're behind them listening to this, and they didn't realize that we're sitting right behind them.
and I go, wait a minute, they're talking about us. And we're just listening. They keep going on and on. I go, ooh, that was me, did that. But completely out of the blue, don't even know who these people were.
I thought that's my reward right there. Just to
Yep.
have people talking about us so fondly, even though they don't even know who we are. I mean, they just happen to know who we.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people talk stories about us from, 2, 3, 4 years ago. I mean, and it's just kind of our inspiration and our kind of like our thanks for, hey, we did a good job then. If you remember us from that long ago.
Right. I mean, right now it's the kids of the parents who first started. The parents who went through back in the '80s now have their kids go through, and now we're almost up to the grandparent age. I mean, we've been doing it that long, and it's hilarious. And a lot of those people have become people that come work for us. They loved it so much that they said, "Hey, I want to work here." And I thought, come on in. We could use more volunteers.
Just on that, I have 6 children, and all 6 children started when they were 4 years old. My oldest, Andrew, who's coming around right now.
Hello. Stick your head in.
Stick your head in. He's 20 now, so he's been in there 16 years.
Yeah.
Already, he's a veteran.
Yeah. Matt started when he was like, I don't know,
15.
He started when he was
14.
15, but he's been in it off and on since he's been 5 years old.
Yeah.
And he kind of like grew into it. And he's my nephew, so he's kind of like, taking the reins on a lot of things. And
Now, what's the best way
it's
for
a family thing? I mean, the friends become family, and the family it's become a family oriented thing.
What's the best way for people to find out more information about where you're doing the mansion?
Well, we are on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. We don't have a website yet, but we're behind in the times when it comes to technology. We like old school stuff.
Word of mouth helps a lot.
Yeah, we like old school stuff. We're not the CGI lovers, but we love. Okay, so we're on Facebook. We have flyers out. Right now when do we open? October 16th this year.
October 16th.
We open October 16th, and we're at the pavilion at the firehouse, the Wasco Firehouse.
In Wasco, New York. We're right outside. And basically, if you came near us, you'd see it.
Yeah. You can't miss it.
We got a lot of lights and everything right there. So I mean, feel free, come on and by, stop by, see what it's like. Yeah. I mean, we're more
welcome. Hoyt.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe.
And then afterwards, you can always go up to one of the people, say that you saw us on this and wanted to say hi to me, Mark, or Mike, or something like that. And if we have time, we'll come out and we'll talk, and maybe we can help each other out in some way. I mean, we're always big on helping other companies if they help us. I mean, there's other haunted houses that we help out. There's other.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of businesses.
There are a couple that we've knocked heads with, and these are like very commercial haunted houses that have, they try to down talk us or something like that. We just kind of try to ignore that as best as possible. But they haven't been around in quite a while. Those are the kind that usually fail and fall the wayside. But usually when you have a passion with it and you have haunted house people like us doing stuff, we like to get together and
compare notes
and see what they got and we share each other's ideas and I'm all for that. I mean,
and we have other people from other haunted houses coming through ours every year.
Oh yeah,
and we did the same with them. And when we have time, we try and get out to theirs to go through theirs to support them. I mean, it's hard for us sometimes just because it's we're open usually when they're open, so sometimes it can be difficult, but we try to all the time. We our Facebook page is actually Fright Night Mansion, all in one word.
Yeah, Fright. No, it's Fright. Yeah, it's Fright. It's
Fright.
AP Productions, Fright Night, one word, Mansion. And that's how you find us on Facebook.
No, you guys have a couple YouTube channels as well. I believe Matt has one. Mark, you have one as well.
Yeah, we have a video. We have a couple of. They need to be a little bit updated, cleaned up a little bit. But I have some videos on there under AP Productions. It's A.P.E. Productions.
We also have Alarog Gorilla,
Right.
and then mine is M Lupien 2002, MLUPIEN 2002. You can look us up. We got hay rides, videos of hay rides, videos of our mansions. I mean,
I have a mini,
and then we have little tiny short things that we filmed.
I have a mini documentary that I made of our mansion, of how we built some stuff and the people that went through it, and I spent some time on the documentary and it came out to be about 30-40 minutes or something like that. Yeah, but and that's on YouTube as well.
Actually, a question in the chat is, where do you get the ideas for your new characters?
Man,
that's a tough one.
That's a tough one because we get them from everywhere.
Yeah,
we role play a lot, so sometimes we get inspiration from Dungeons and Dragons,
or riffs or whatever we're playing.
I mean, sometimes we'll just see something
and go, wait,
and then it'll click something else, and then we'll make something totally off of that.
Also, I visited Salem, Massachusetts. I went through one of their haunted houses, and I got a few ideas from that, and I brought them home. And I was talking to Mark and the rest of the gang about it. Okay, let's do this, and we change them.
But we'll change it to fit our schematics. Because I don't like doing something
duplicating.
I don't like doing something that somebody else is doing just because I don't know. I just like being original.
It's almost like because we don't want to we're not stealing their ideas.
No, you borrow.
We want to borrow them
and then
make them our own and make them add to them that it's
right.
our particular.
And a lot of our ideas are our own. We actually come up with the idea ourselves, and we're like, don't tell anybody how we do this. I want this for ourselves. This is ours. This is our little thing.
We've done a couple of different things that other haunted houses people have come through and said, how did you do that in such a small area? I mean, or that effect was cool. I mean,
and they're simple. Some of them are simple. The simpler ones usually end up being the best.
Yeah, and we've done this for so long that we can do things just with lighting, not even physical attributes, but we'll see something with lighting and we'll go, oh, that works awesome.
That's
and then we've done it ever since because we saw that it worked. And and sometimes it's just luck.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody will hit a wall and move a light or something, and it'll be an awesome effect, and we'll look at it and we'll go, wow, that's actually cool. Well, how about if we do this? And then we'll change it up a little bit. Or it's kind of hard to say that there's a particular source we come up with.
No, it's off the fly. I actually did a Dungeons and Dragons character. I played Githyank, and I was 7'11".
It was a cool character.
Came out really good. We actually were on the news. Channel 9 did 2 spots for us, and it actually shows me swinging a sword across over the top of everyone's head, and it was fantastic.
He's on these large, you put not stilts, but
platforms
on his feet. It brought him up to what, 7.5 feet?
7'11" was by the time you get the top of his head.
Jeez.
So it was that menacing look.
The ankle breakers.
Now, what about another question in the chat was, what's the craziest reaction someone has had walking through the mansion?
I've had somebody pass out right in front of me.
We have codes.
Yeah.
Okay, not to be gross or anything, but we have code.
I was hoping you would explain it.
Yeah. We have code yellow, and that's self-explanatory. We have code brown, and I think that's self-explanatory.
We have code Technicolor,
which is when someone decides they're going to throw up because they're so scared.
Yeah.
We have different codes, and we get them every year. Every single code, some more than others.
I mean, I've had somebody literally. I was a character at the time. I came around the corner, and they literally took a gasp and fell to the ground and passed out completely.
Yeah.
I had to actually physically pick them up and carry them outside the haunted house to wake them up because they were just so scared that it got to them and they passed out. I mean, it's hard to say. Our craziest is
and it's not to say that we do this on purpose. We do. No. We could have a 30-year-old man come through and pass out from fright, and then the next person to come through is a 4-year-old little girl, and she's laughing her head off. She doesn't think it's scary at all. She thinks it's fun. So it all depends on the person and what scares them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the craziest things I've ever seen was one year. It took about 5.5 minutes to walk through the mansion, and I think just one group made it through in 1 minute and 22 seconds.
Yeah, they just ran through.
And we didn't even see them go by half the mansion because they ran through it so fast.
Yep, like a train.
That everybody just saw blurs, and it was like.
It's like, wow, you paid $5 just to see nothing. I mean, they had their eyes closed the whole time. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, they're running as fast as they can, smacking into walls, and then just keep going. And it's like, wow, I've never seen that reaction. I don't think I've ever seen anybody get through that fast again. I mean, that was crazy.
And this is a good one. We did a mansion in Cuba where I invited a friend from work to come, and he ran out of there so fast. Out of the end of it, and I just happened to be outside at that point. He come running out, and he ran across the road. I'm like, oh my god, he's going to get hit by a car, and he was still running, and he jumped over a guardrail, not knowing that there was nothing on the other side of that guardrail but a 20-foot drop, and he dropped straight down over that guardrail
and
kept going right to the lake, which was
another 50
it was
feet
just hilarious. I thought he was going to get killed. And I'm like, oh my god, he just ran out of it. So he just didn't want anything else to do with it. He just wanted to go home. And this was someone, he was in his late 20s, and he wasn't scared of anything, and he just did not want anything to do with that again. He just, loved it.
Now, have you guys found that there's certain characters that are scarier or more stimulating for individuals going through the mansion?
It all depends on what they're looking for.
It all depends on the person, the age. Clowns. I don't get it.
I don't either. We don't
get it. Clowns apparently are one of the most evil, disruptive, scary creatures that you can have.
I don't know.
We don't get it.
It was funny. There was this one where we made a maze, and then we had a room that we just could not figure out what to put in there. We're like, all right, we have this room, and we're going to put in a werewolves, or we're going to put in vampires. No, we have those already. It's like, well, what are we going to put in this room? So I went to a mask shop, which is in Syracuse. I think it was Doherty's. And I went with a friend of mine who wasn't really part of the mansion, but she loved going through it. And I was there, and I just happened to see these weird clown masks. And I was just joking around, and I took the mask, and I put it on, and I go, what do you think of this? And she was just, her face was in horror, was in terror. And I went, what are you doing?
Started sweating, hyperventilating.
And she goes, I go, what are you doing? And she goes, I don't like clowns. They scare the hell out of me. I'm like, a clown scares you? And I go, So we put a room together, and I couldn't believe it. I guess I was naive. I didn't realize how scary clowns were.
How many people are really scared of clowns? And I think a lot of that has to do with some of the movies.
This was back in the day. But this was back in the 80s, so it was like in the early 90s before clowns really got really scary, and we had it in it, and people were screaming out there. I'm like, I can't believe they're this scared over clowns, but
they are.
They come and go in our mansions. You never know if they're going to have them or not. We don't like to tell people if they're there because if we tell them, then they won't come.
They have to find out.
Yeah.
Pay your money and find out.
Right.
And what kind of upcoming projects do you guys would you guys like to announce? And anything that's upcoming other than the mansion? I mean, is there other things? I'm so psyched. I want to do a movie, and I've got a script, and I've got quite a few people involved, and I've got the equipment to do it and all that stuff. And it's right now the script is for a full-length movie. It's really hard to get people together to do these kind of movies. And it's a horror. This one's a horror comedy. But I have a couple scripts actually for different movies that I want to put together. But as far as projects are concerned,
the only other project that I know of that we were thinking about doing was Family Plots. the short
The short film.
The short
film.
which is we're thinking about throwing on YouTube. It's called Family Plots. It's maybe going to be 20 minutes long, if that.
If that, yeah.
And it's just
horror. It's like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, basically like a short Twilight episode.
But it's horror. It's horror, and it's got its gore factor, and
we're trying to get that together too.
And for all you zombie lovers out there, yes, we love our zombies too. We have zombies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Last year was interesting.
We've had a lot of zombies.
Throughout the years too.
Yeah. I think last year we had our best zombie area in the mansion. We had, I don't know, something like 30 zombies at one time.
One night we did.
Just all in one spot, and it was like real. It looked just like a
very
movie.
intense.
It really
it looked like one of the movies. That
they didn't know where to go. They were getting attacked from below, up top, you name it. The patrons had no clue.
Now, if there's individuals that are interested in helping out doing the mansion, is there an email or a way to contact you guys? I mean, instead of going with a phone number, you know what I mean? I figure an email might be the easiest.
Right. You can email any one of us.
Yeah,
or actually get right on our Facebook account.
If you can find us on Facebook, you can get right on there. We check that. I mean, you can email me. I mean, my email is mlupian2002@gmail.com. I have no problem with you guys emailing me about that. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can about helping out.
Right. Mine is allirog@aol.com, and same thing. Just give me an email what you want to do or whatever. We'll get you in there. We'll find a space for you. We're always welcoming people in.
The only thing we ask is 18 or older.
Yeah, we try to keep it at 18 or older for people that walk around the haunts. Younger people, we usually have a cage or something for. Thanks, Drew. We usually have a cage or something to keep them away from, because we don't want anybody punching the little kids in there. So it's bad enough that they punch the adults, and we get that a lot. So
I mean, we need people to walk through with patrons all the time. We need people for security. We need people for characters. I mean, we're always looking for people. So if they're if they want to help out, like I said, it's all voluntary though, just so that everybody understands.
We just have to know what days are available.
Yeah, we need to know what days are available, what they're looking to do, if they're looking to do anything. If
they're creative, oh boy, yeah, we could use the creative types. We need people who know makeup. We know people that do costumes and can build things. And always looking for that kind of help. Yeah. Build things.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if there's any more questions popping up in the chat.
No problem. I got a story though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
We this is the last mansion we had at the Finger Lakes Mall, and it was a rough start to start out with because of all the hoops that we had to jump through, the new regulations that were implemented and all that. But we started getting through that, and we actually had a celebrity come through. The gentleman is Sherman Howard. He actually played Bub, the lead zombie in Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead.
And he lives in Pennsylvania, and when he's not acting or whatever, he actually is a truck driver. So he heard about our mansion, so he decided to come up. He went through it, didn't say anything to us about him going through, and went home.
We didn't even know he went through it.
Nope, and we didn't know it. This is back when MySpace was still up and running. And he goes, yeah, I went up to Finger Lakes Mall to check out the Fright Night Mansion, put on by AP Productions. He goes, this was the best theatrical horror I've been to on either East or West Coast. He said, for $5, you got movie quality sets, movie quality sound, and movie quality acting. He was highly recommend everyone to go to it.
Yeah, that was a nice pat on the shoulder. But I mean, personally, myself, we're the shock value type of haunted house. I personally like the longer haunted houses where you take a tour through and there's a story and there's a plot and you have actors actually conversing with, and then maybe the occasional shock. And personally, but because of the way we do our haunted house, there's not a lot of people that want that kind of haunt. They just want to get startled. They just want to be scared and out of there. So we've ended up always just doing that. We try to throw a little drama in there, but
every once in a while.
Every once in a while. we start them
Come
off
up
with
with little
drama.
skits and stuff.
Yeah, we throw a little bit of drama in the beginning, but then once they're through that, boom, it's like a roller coaster. If you like roller coasters, you'll love our haunted house. If you, I mean, it's just a thrill, and I can't say enough about it. I mean, it's one of the only things in my life that I'm proud of doing. Really, it is. It's I can't say enough good things about it.
Now, what was your background before doing the mansion stuff? For either one of you guys, film, acting, that type of stuff. I mean, what kind of was the background before it?
I went to college for film and TV at Cuda Community College. But other than that, it was just watching horror films, doing some short movies with Mark and those guys and things like that. And then, I mean, I learned a lot of my carpentry skills and things like that from the mansion. I mean, just doing it repetitively. Because like we said, it takes roughly 2 weeks to build every year, and that 2 weeks is...
And it's not the same maze every time.
Yeah,
that maze is different every year.
Yeah, and it's not the same thing, so we have to constantly change everything. I mean, yeah, we got the walls painted already, so we don't have to worry about painting every year.
Just touch-ups.
But we still have to build the frames, because we can't... The way we store it, because we are a movable place, we have to tear everything down to the bare bones, basically just 2x4s and sheets of plywood, and that's it. And then we have to put it all back together every year.
Yeah. We have to find this thing is stored in various places. I mean, there's wood stored in one place, there's props stored in another, there's costumes stored in another, and they're not all in one place location.
No, I mean,
so
it's
which is good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because when it's all tore down, you could fit the mansion in maybe about a 20-foot area.
Yeah, or actually less.
I mean, because with all the props and everything, a 20 by 20 area.
Right.
I mean, because the 2x4s and the plywood, when you stack only about 6 feet high. I mean, it's
amazing how much you can.
It's amazing how much you can build out of so little wood. I mean, and we don't build it with only like 2x4s. Every single wall has at least 4.
Yeah.
We
don't cheapen out.
Some have 6. I mean, just because we know people are going to run into them and we don't want people to go through them. Some of the plywood we use in there is 3/4 inch plywood.
When we first started, we were kind of naive about the wood, and a lot of it got donated to us too. So, we're using sheets. I mean, we're using 3/4 for everything. It took 2 people to carry a sheet from one end. Now we use the lighter stuff.
We use 3/4 inch for a crash wall or something like that. But other than that, we use a 1/4 inch.
I met Mark through a mutual friend in '88. And went down to the studio for the first time, met the guys, and at that time, AP was a little different then, just forming for the most part.
Yeah.
And
I just gotten my license that year.
So we're talking about different things. I saw the posters on the wall, horror. I go, oh yeah, I like this movie, that movie. He goes, oh yeah, well we're doing this mansion, and I started with them when I was 17 years old, and haven't looked back. Been every year, 28 years. Going on here, so and I learned as I went along as Mark taught makeup, so I learned that. Learned how to do my own costumes, and then build set, helped with the lighting, helped with the sound. I'm a master at camouflage.
Yeah, yes he is. He's the only one I know who can make a black wall move. I mean, it's just. He turns himself into these weird things. I tell you, I don't know. All right, here's a story. This is a good one with Mike. Okay, so I'm coming through this what we call the gauntlet of horror, and there was all these creatures coming at us and everything. And so, at the end, there should have been a door, and there was just this black space. I'm like, what's this? Where's the door? Right? He was the door. He had a black sheet up, and he was like pretending to be the door. And I'm like looking for it, and I finally get to it, and it's like a black area, and I touch it, and he just goes around me with a sheet. I'm like, what a great idea, but...
The 2 girls that were with him didn't like it so much. They tore him in half.
Yeah, because I was kind of escorting, and if you're an escort and the girls or the guys are clinging to you, they will rip you apart by the time you get to the end. It's like, I don't like being the escort. You lose your clothes very quickly.
And body parts.
Yes, and body parts.
But yeah,
I started.
if-
I
if-
started. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, no, go right ahead.
Oh, I started. Oh man, I was a kid when I started getting into this stuff. I went to Roseland Park a lot. A lot of people probably don't remember that, but I went to Roseland Park, which was an amusement park in Canandaigua Lake, and they had this fun house called the Gold Nugget, and that's probably what inspired me when I was a kid. Because I always was into roller coasters and things like that, and I went to the Gold Nugget, which was a dark. They call it a dark ride, and it was basically just by today's standards, it's horrible, but it's like a carny thing. But it inspired me as a kid, and then I started getting older, and I liked horror movies and stuff. And I used to get these. I used to order these, the things you get in the comic books in the back. I used to order make yourself into a monster kit, and I would get those. And, I was into Rick Baker. I used to follow his stuff, and Tom Savini, and then in the '70s, horror movies really took off, like Halloween and the Friday the 13th movies and all that. And that was it. I was a kid in a candy store when that happened. I was a teenager then, so I was like, oh boy, now I can really start bringing my own generation into these horror movies. Or I'm sorry, into these mansions, these haunted houses. The first haunted house I ever did, I was 16, and it was at the Lincoln School here in Auburn, New York. The Lincoln School's not here anymore. It was actually abandoned, and at the time, a lot of the firemen and stuff, they put this haunted house together every year. And I was only 16 at the time, and I remember I just fell in love with doing it at that point. And at that point, I was with a few different haunted houses, and then no one was doing them anymore. So I said, you know what, I'm going to bring them back, and I just started doing it. I think we're the only ones in Cuyahoga County that were doing it for at least
a long time,
20 years before they
Yeah.
started doing them again.
and then once we call fly-by nights, it just popped up.
Yeah. They just do it for a lot of them. They just do it for the money. They just do it for commercial profit, and they pay their actors, which is good for them. But at the same time, they're told, you stand here. This is how you act, and this is what you have to do, and it becomes work. And I hear a lot of things from these people. They're like, oh man, I hate working there. It's some money, but I hate working there because all I get to do is this. They can't go beyond what they want to do. So I said, well, come work for us. I said, I can't pay you, but you can do whatever you want. As long as it's within reason.
I think that's why ours is probably one of the scariest in New York State.
Yeah.
And the people are there because they love it, not because they have to.
Right.
And because they love it, they want to make it as scary as possible.
Right. I mean, the freedom of creativity. I mean,
Right.
that'll make it go very far. But
I
if
think that
you guys
philosophy
would
should
like
be
to
used in
give
all
another,
business. I think the philosophy should be used in a lot of different businesses and loosen people up. I mean, people are so tightly wound now; they just need to be freed.
if you guys would like to give more shout outs about the YouTube channel, Facebook, how they can get a hold of you, or email, how they can get a hold of you, and then I think we're all set. I mean, I appreciate you guys coming on.
Cool.
I've, I've known all you guys for a long time, and I'm happy to introduce you guys to everybody
Yep.
out there. So,
Oh, we appreciate your help too. For you helped us with a lot of stuff with the cameras and all that stuff. Because we like to have monitors and everything going on. So, but yeah, you can find us on Facebook. It's AP Productions, Fright Night, one word, Mansion, and you can catch us on YouTube as well under AP Productions. And you can see our it's A.P.E. Productions. And you can catch us. We have videos on there. We have other skits on there too. Just goofing around skits. But the documentary should be on there. There's some short ones and there's some long ones.
Yeah, you can get a hold of me. Email for MLUPIEN2002 at gmail.com if you're interested in. You can also check out my YouTube page, which is also MLUPIEN2002. I have some stuff on there about the hay rides and stuff like that. And I appreciate the time. It was fun. This was fun. Yeah.
I appreciate you guys coming on, and hopefully we can get some footage of the mansion going on, and throw that up on your channels as well. I think that'd be.
So everybody go to Fright Night Mansion.
so-
Fright Night Mansion. AB Productions. Fright Night Mansion. Scary. Too scary.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dom.
Thanks, Dom.
Hey, Dom.